Sai Ram, Sripada Srivallabha Charithamrutham, Chapter 11, Part 2. Digambara, Digambara, Sripada Vallabha Digambara. The nature of Sripada. Sripada, who announced that he was none other than Dattatreya, was worshipping Kalagni Shamana Datta in his house. Once Bapanarya wondered about this and asked Sripada, "My boy Sripada, are you Datta or a worshipper of Datta?" Then he replied, "I become Datta when I say I am Datta. When I say I am a worshipper of Datta, I become a worshipper of Datta. Whenever I am Sripada Srivallabha, I become Sripada Srivallabha. Whatever I think, I become that. This is my nature." This was all very confusing to the grandfather. Then Sripada said, "Grandfather, both of us are one. In the ensuing birth, I am going to incarnate with a body that closely resembles you. You have a very strong desire to enter the ascetic order. It is not my resolve that you should be a monk in this life or in the next life. I want to incarnate with a body resembling you exactly in all respects and destroy all your karmic shackles and influences." Saying so, he gently touched the center point of the eyebrows, the focal point of consciousness of his grandfather. Sri Bapanarya saw for some seconds Babaji, who was in a state of undisturbed trance of meditation in the Himalayas. After some time, he saw him taking a bath in the confluence of Triveni in the great pilgrimage center Prayag. He saw the form of Sripada afterwards. Then that image merged with the self-existent Datta in the Kukuteshwar temple. An Avadhuta came out of it. He saw that his daughter Akhanda Lakshmi Saubhagyavati Sumati Maharani was giving alms to that Avadhuta. He again saw that the Avadhuta took the shape of Sripada Srivallabha and was lying in the lap of Sumati Maharani. He observed that the little kid came out of her lap and changed into a youth of 16 years. That youngster saw him with the profound looks and took a form exactly resembling him. However, that person appeared like an ascetic. That ascetic was walking majestically with his disciples after taking a bath in the confluence of two sacred rivers. That ascetic glanced towards him and spoke, "Oh, you appear to be discussing within yourself as to who I am. I am called Narsimha Saraswati. This is Gandharvpura." Within minutes, after speaking these words, the ascetic threw his upper garment into the river, sat on it, and reached Sri Shaila. Great people and great yogis in Kadalivan prostrated before him. All of them prayed, "Great Lord, we have all been doing penance for many hundreds of years for your advent. Kindly make us blessed." After undertaking penance for many years, he appeared as an aged person with only a loincloth on him. With his extremely sharp looks towards Sri Bapanarya, he said that he is called Swami Samarth. After some time, he relinquished that body and transferred his life force to a banyan tree and merged his divine soul in the Mallikarjuna Shivalinga at Sri Shaila. From that highly powerful Shivalinga, a profound thundering voice was thus heard, "Bapanarya, you are indeed fortunate. I am unobtainable, imperceptible to speech and mind, infinite, a total embodiment of wisdom and without beginning or end. By the power of your Kriya Yoga, you have brought me from the solar region through Shaktipat and attracted me into this Jyotirling. 18,000 celestials will worship me in the form of this Jyotirling for eternity. Those holy celestials will assist the people who adore this Jyotirling in their material and spiritual progress. As a personification of the Trinity, I am blessing you with my forms of Sripada Srivallabha, Narasimha Saraswati and Swami Samarth. My dear Shankar Bhatt, the sportive plays of Sri Guru are unimaginable. After some time, Sri Bapanarya became his normal self. He saw Sripada as a boy aged of 3 years with an innocent face smiling sweetly facing him. This strange experience gave him heavenly sweetness. He hugged Sripada. For some time, he was in a state of divine ecstasy. From that supernatural experience, he returned to the normal state and started the fire ritual. The way in which he typically performed the fire ritual was amazing. Generally, fire is generated by using sticks of an Odambra and Jammi tree, but Sri Bapanarya used to chant Vedic mantras after placing the holy samadhis in the fire altar. Fire used to get generated and flames used to shoot. Sri Appalaraja Sharma also used to do the fire ritual like that. The worship of fire was there in their family. On special sacred days, they used to get down into the burning altar of fire and offer oblations. They used to not experience any harm to their body or clothes in this kind of fire worship. This is a wonder of wonders. Sri Pada's capacity to make things happen or not happen. On that day, during the fire ritual, the fire did not get generated in spite of Sri Bapanarya's chanting Vedic mantras many times. Seeing the difficult condition of his grandfather, Sripada smiled sportively. The grandfather was sweating profusely. Then Sripada turned towards the fire pit and said, Agnidev, I am commanding you to not create an obstruction to grandfather's divine work. Immediately, the fire ignited and flames rose. Sripada took some water from his grandfather's water pot and poured it into the fire. Instead of getting extinguished, the fire began to burn very brightly. Seeing this, the grandfather was much more wonderstruck. Sripada averred like this, Grandfather, you, Pinda Venkatappaya Sreshti and Narasimha Varma are responsible for my incarnation as Sripada. Therefore, when you or my father receive any monetary or non-monetary assistance from Pinda Venkatappaya Sreshti or Narasimha Varma, it cannot be counted as a donation. Non-acceptance of such an offer will be considered as an offense against God. Such an assistance has to be regarded as the grace of the Almighty. My mother, Sumati Maharani, should not only be treated as the daughter of the Maladi family, but also of Sri Pinda Venkatappaya Sreshti and Sri Vatsavai families. This is my verdict. Appal Raja Sharma and Sumati Maharani were present there when Sripada declared this. By chance, Pinda Venkatappaya Sreshti and Narasimha Varma were also present there. Sripada said, Without my will, even a great hermit like Sri Bapanarya cannot generate fire. The fire god will show his power when my father gets into the fireplace. If there were to be a change in my intention, Pinda Venkatappaya Sreshti will turn into a very poor person, and Narasimha Varma, who is the owner of many acres of land, will become shelterless. It is only with my intention that all of you remain in the current positions. I can make a beggar to be a king, and I can change a king to be a beggar also. I will fulfill all the wishes of my devotees who surrender to me. However, I will examine before granting whether that devotee can retain such elevated state and whether he will use his capacity and power for the welfare of the world. Whenever I find it necessary, I will turn earth into sky and sky into earth also. In Krita Yuga, when Bapanarya was living as Labhad Maharshi, he had a disciple named Mangala Maharshi. Once, when Mangala Maharshi was cutting sacred grass, his hand got wounded and blood flowed out of his wounded hand. That blood coagulated and turned into fragrant holy ash. He felt proud in his mind that he achieved such a great accomplishment. Then Shiva appeared and moved his hand playfully. A great quantity of holy ash showered as if mountain boulders from the Himalayas were falling apart. Shiva said in Treta Yuga, sage Bharadwaj will perform Savitru Kathaka Chayana in Pithikapuram. I showed you only a fraction of the holy ash that will accumulate in that great sacrifice. Then the pride of Mangala Maharshi was removed. All the listeners were dumbfounded and were hearing all that Sripada was saying. Sripada said, one steps into this Pithikapuram only on account of the good merits earned over many births. It is of unspeakable significance that you are with me during the period of my incarnation. To experience my power, you must first become a rigorous spiritual seeker. Then only you will experience my power, compassion, affection, protection, and redemption from sin. My padukas will be installed in the house of Sri Bapanarya, which is my birthplace. I will drink milk in the morning in Pithikapuram in the lap of my mother Sumati. In the afternoon, Mother Sumati will feed me with little lumps of food. During night time, I will eat halwa in the lap of Mother Sumati. I will remain in Gandharvpur in the form of Narsimha Saraswati just as I am in Pithikapuram. I will seek bhiksha in Gandharvpur exactly during midday. These will be clearly seen by those who have the sight of inner eye. Great personages, great yogis and people of all countries will come to my darbar to have my darshan like rows of ants. They will dance in ecstasy, chanting Datta Digambara Digambara Sripada Vallabha Digambara Narsimha Saraswati Datta Digambara. They will sing this with ecstasy. The moment I give permission, all due tasks will be done at once. A great samsthan will be formed in my name. As my influence enhances, it will become difficult to purchase even a small patch of land, as small as the foot of a cow in this Pithikapuram. If necessary, I will drag people whom I consider as my own to Pithikapuram by holding their hair. Without my will, one cannot come to my samsthan in Pithikapuram. However rich he might be or however great yogi he might be, this is confirmed and true. Be happy by realizing my real nature. This time will not come again. The powers of all gods whom a man can think of are within me. If anyone gives dakshina to me, I will multiply it 100-fold and grant him good merit when the appropriate time comes. Money has to be earned without violating dharma. Desires can be satisfied without violating dharma. By doing righteous acts, moha is destroyed. After moha is destroyed, liberation is achieved. My boy Shankar Bhatt, did you hear all these nectar-like words of Sripada? After this sacred teaching, Narsimha Varma took Sripada in his horse carriage the next day to see his fields. He had many acres of agricultural lands. Many varieties of crops were grown in those fields, but loofah plants were rarely flowering. After flowering, the tender vegetable was drying up. If some became big, they were bitter and not fit for cooking. Narsimha Varma submitted this matter to Sripada. Sripada became placid-faced and said, all the members of our household like lufa curry made with dal. As the people in my house like it, I too like it. In ancient times, an aspirant of Datta undertook penance in this land. This holy earth is yearning for the touch of my feet, as I am verily Datta. It is expressing its eagerness to you in its manner. When this earth receives my touch, there will be change in the nature of this Mother Earth. After that, this earth will give us very tasty lufa. Grandfather, send the lufa grown here to our house without any fear. I will eat that preparation of curry along with the members of this house. My dear Shankar Bhat, wonder of wonders, from that day onwards there was an abundant crop of lufa in that field. They also had a very good taste. Sripada got down from the horse carriage along with Narsimha Verma and roamed in the fields for some time. In the meanwhile, some tribal young men and women came there, all of them prostrated before Sripada. At that time, a divine illuminating halo formed around the divine countenance of Sripada. Sripada said, Grandfather, all these tribals belong to my incarnation of Narsimha. These people regards Mahalakshmi as their sister and worships her. You are a devotee of Narsimha Swami. If you take their help, you may obtain the darshan of Sri Lord Narsimha. Narsimha Verma thought that Sripada spoke like that playfully to tease him. He then responded by saying, You Chenchu people, have you seen Lord Narsimha? Can you tell about his whereabouts? For that they replied, What is so great about it? A mad person with a lion's head and human body is roaming in these forests. He is infatuated with our sister Chenchu Lakshmi. Our girl also likes him. We married them both. If you want, we will bring Chenchu Lakshmi and Narsimha also and place them before you. After speaking like this, those Chenchu youths ran away. Chenchu here means forest tribals. Narsimha Verma was seeing all this with wonder. Then he observed that a young man and a young woman were coming across their fields. Fortunately, I was going that way. Sripada beckoned me to come near him. When I approached him, Sripada told me, Subaya Sreshti, whom do you think are those people coming from a distance? They are Bilva Mangala and Chintamani. Collect some 3 weeks. We will make fire with them. We can see the farce. Narsimha Verma and I started perspiring profusely. Those visitors were indeed Bilva Mangala and Chintamani. There was no doubt they visited Sri Krishna in the pilgrim center Guruvayur. Fortunately, they later visited a great yogini, Kururama. She blessed them involuntarily that they will get the darshan of Sripada Srivallabha. Under the influence of her blessing, the seeds of devotion and detachment sprouted in them. They visited Sri Narsimha in Mangalagiri, and from there they were coming to Pitikapuram to have the darshan of Sripada. Both of them prayed in Mangalgiri thus. If the blessing of great yogini Kururama were to fructify and we receive the darshan of Sripada, who is not different from Datta, we request for your physical darshan as Sri Narsimha Deva. On account of the efficacy of the blessing of the centenarian great lady, who was a great yogini, they obtained the darshan of Sripada here. This was a wonderful matter when the fire of broken twigs and raging, Bilva Mangala and Chintamani felt immense agony as if their bodies were put on a funeral pyre. After some time, some black shapes closely resembling them came out of their bodies and fell into the flames, and they cried bitterly. When the 2 black images were completely burnt down, Bilva Mangala and Chintamani regained their consciousness. By that time, the forest tribals came there with their sister Chenchu Lakshmi. They tied tightly the hands of Lord Narsimha and produced him before Sripada. Such a wonderful and strange things did not take place in any yuga. In the program of Sripada's incarnation, miracles and sportive plays were countless and unimaginable. Sripada questioned like this, Are you the Narsimha of bygone aeons? Is this Chenchu Lakshmi your wife? Are you the one who killed Hiranyakashipu and protected Prahlad? For that, Lord Narsimha replied, Yes, 3 times. Chenchulakshmi and Lord Narsimha merged in the body of Sripada in the form of a brilliant light. Chintamani transformed to be a great yogini. The tribals disappeared. Bilvamangala became a great devotee and came to be known as Bilvamangala Maharshi. Sripada announced that in the lands of Sri Narasimhavarma, where all these strange and weird incidents happened, a village by the name of Chitravada would come about. His will is truth, his will prevails. Jai Shri Sai Nathaya Namaha.